Sweden has officially joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It became the 32nd member of NATO after completing its accession process in Washington. Following this, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson hailed the country's membership in the alliance. He said that unity and solidarity would be Sweden's guiding lights. This comes 2 years after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which forced Sweden to rethink its national security policy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has appointed former Army Chief Valery Zaluzhny as ambassador to the UK. Zaluzhny is widely seen as a national hero for overseeing Ukraine's war efforts throughout Russia's full-scale invasion. In February, he was replaced as Army Chief by Oleksandr Syrsky. Ukraine has not had an ambassador to Britain since Zelensky dismissed former envoy Vadim Pristaiko in July 2023. Meanwhile, British Defence Secretary Grant Shapps visited Kyiv on Thursday. During the meeting, Shapps said that the UK will provide 10,000 drones to Ukraine to help it in its fight against Russia. This is an additional investment of $160 million on top of the $256 million already committed for drones. Russian artillery shelling set a large shopping mall ablaze in southeast Ukraine. That's according to local authorities in the region. Firefighters were battling the flames seen inside a mall. The deputy director of the shopping mall said none of the employees were injured as they had taken cover in a shelter. US President Joe Biden has announced that the US will construct a temporary port on Gaza's Mediterranean coast. This is to deliver humanitarian aid to the enclave by sea. Biden made the announcement during the annual State of the Union speech in front of the US Congress. The US started delivering aid to Palestinians in Gaza this month. Earlier, the United Nations had warned of widespread starvation among Gaza's 2.3 million population. Meanwhile, during the State of the Union speech, Biden emphasized his support for abortion rights. Biden has vowed to reinstate abortion rights if he is re-elected. Biden said that he will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land. That is if Americans voted for enough Democratic lawmakers to do so. Haiti's government has extended a state of emergency until April 3rd amid escalating violence. Yesterday, a few protesters defied the state of emergency and marched through the streets of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Meanwhile, armed gangs set fire to a police station and looted a local food market. Haitians have been plunged into a deepening crisis. Gang violence has also forced thousands of people to flee their homes. 6 people from Sri Lanka have been knifed to death in the Canadian capital of Ottawa. The victims included a 35-year-old woman and her 4 children and a 40-year-old man who was an acquaintance of the family. Police have said that a 19-year-old male student from Sri Lanka has been arrested for the killings. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he was horrified by the terrible tragedy. In India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 2-day visit to the northeastern state of Assam. He's expected to land there this evening. During the visit, he will launch projects worth over 18,000 crore rupees. This comes as India heads towards national elections in the next few months. Meanwhile, India's main opposition party, the Indian National Congress, will reportedly release its first list of candidates soon. This is for the upcoming Lok Sabha or lower house of parliament elections. Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi is expected to contest from the Wayanad and Amethi constituencies. The Congress party convened a meeting of the party's Central Election Committee yesterday to finalize the list. China's top legislators have vowed to enact a slew of new laws to safeguard the country's sovereign interests. The country's National People's Congress Standing Committee, or NPCSC, has announced revisions to the country's counter-espionage laws, state secret protection laws, and cyber-security laws, among others. They say this will help them fight against infiltration, subversion, and the theft of secrets. Hong Kong's Legislative Council has begun debating the draft of a new national security law. The draft bill was released this morning. It includes new laws on treason, espionage, external interference, state secrets, and sedition. As per the draft, Hong Kong has proposed stiff penalties such as life imprisonment. Gunmen kidnapped nearly 300 pupils in northern Nigeria yesterday. The abduction took place shortly after the morning assembly. Parents said that the gunmen started shooting sporadically before kidnapping the children and disappearing into the bushes. Reports say that this is the biggest abduction targeting a school since 2021. In climate news, more than 500 seabirds have been found dead along the French Atlantic coast since the start of this year. This is according to France's largest non-government environmental organization. Scientists say the birds likely died due to difficult conditions at sea. These conditions include intense storms, microplastics, and chemical contamination. Australia's Great Barrier Reef has been hit by a major coral bleaching event. This is the 7th mass bleaching event since 1998. The Australian Reef Authority says ocean temperatures have reached record levels in the last few weeks. This heat stress has forced coral reefs to lose their color. Unseasonable heat has left the Great Lakes of North America devoid of ice. According to the Great Lakes Ice Tracker website, only 3% of the lakes were covered in ice in mid-February. This is usually a time when 40% of the lakes are covered in ice. Researchers believe that the lakes warming could lead to soil erosion and less oxygen for marine animals. Liquid sugar and chemical waste have been polluting the Karnapuli River in Bangladesh. This comes after a massive fire burnt down over 100,000 tons of raw sugar in a factory in northeastern Bangladesh. The sugary waste has created a thick layer on the water's surface. Dead fish and other animals were seen floating along a stretch of the river. Deforestation is driving up the risk of malaria among vulnerable children in sub-Saharan Africa. This is according to a new study by the Vermont University in the US. The study says that the loss of forest cover increases temperatures and the risk of water pooling, which creates the ideal breeding grounds for malaria-carrying mosquitoes. As a result, children living in these areas are more likely to get the disease. Power company Xcel Energy has said that its equipment may have started the wildfire in the US state of Texas. The fire, which started last week, has grown to become the largest blaze in the state's history. It has charred more than 400,000 hectares of land so far. The flames have also killed at least 2 people and 3,000 animals in Texas. France and the United Nations are co-hosting a 2-day conference that began yesterday. The conference is being held to find ways to reduce the construction sector's carbon emissions. The meeting is also aimed at adapting buildings to withstand extreme weather conditions like storms, floods, and heat waves. These conditions have become more frequent and intense due to climate change. On to business and tech news. US President Joe Biden has called for higher taxes on corporations and billionaires. During his annual State of the Union address, Biden said that it's time to raise corporate taxes to at least 21%. He's also seeking to levy a 25% minimum tax on billionaires. These tax hikes are part of the Biden administration's plan to cut the federal deficit by $3 trillion. The European Central Bank has decided to keep its interest rates unchanged. Yesterday, ECB President Christine Lagarde said that inflation in the European economy has declined. However, she added that they need more evidence before they decide to reduce the lending rate. The ECB manages the monetary policy for the 20 EU countries that use the euro as their currency. A United Airlines flight encountered a mid-air incident yesterday. A tire fell off from the flight shortly after takeoff from San Francisco. The Boeing 777 jet was forced to make an emergency landing at the Los Angeles airport. The flight was bound for Japan with 235 passengers and 14 crew members on board. United Airlines confirmed that all passengers and the crew remain unharmed. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration is investigating the cause of the incident. U.S. electric car maker Rivian has launched its latest electric SUV, the R2. The new model is smaller and less expensive than the car maker's earlier R1 SUV. This comes as the demand for EVs is slowing down in the U.S. Rivian says that it will start delivering the R2 SUVs in the first half of 2026. Meanwhile, 3 U.S. senators have urged the Biden administration to hike import duties on Chinese EVs. These Democratic Party lawmakers come from auto manufacturing states in the U.S., including Michigan and Ohio. In a letter to the U.S. Commerce Secretary, the senators said that Chinese cars endanger the American automotive industry. The letter added that low-priced Chinese EVs flooding the U.S. would result in thousands of job losses. Danish pharma group Novo Nordisk has crossed the market valuation of EV maker Tesla and the credit card firm Visa. Novo Nordisk's market valuation soared to $566 billion yesterday, making it the world's 12th most valuable company. This comes after the firm published early trial data for its obesity drug amycretin. It said that the trial data shows participants lost about 13% of their weight after taking the drug for 12 weeks. South Korea's Fair Trade Commission is reportedly considering imposing sanctions on Meta platforms. The firm has been accused of failing to protect local consumers on its Facebook and Instagram marketplaces. These marketplaces allow Facebook and Instagram users to buy and sell new or used products locally. The South Korean trade regulator has found that Meta did not take enough measures to deal with consumer complaints in its marketplaces. China's Huawei and chipmaker SMIC reportedly used U.S. technologies to produce an advanced computer chip in 2023. This chip is being used in Huawei's new Mate 60 Pro smartphone. It was lauded as a major leap for semiconductor fabrication in China, but as per the reports, SMIC used technology from America's Applied Materials and Lam Research to manufacture the chip. India has announced a $1.25 billion investment fund for artificial intelligence projects. It'll provide funding for AI startups in the country. It'll also be used to develop an open-source database that can be used to train AI models. The fund will also provide a framework for developing graphic processing units that power generative AI platforms. Pornhub and 2 other adult sites have filed a lawsuit against the European Union's new Digital Services Act. The act imposes an age verification and other obligations on large online platforms to protect minors. These rules apply to platforms with more than 45 million monthly visitors. The EU has listed 22 such platforms, including Pornhub. However, the adult site has said that it had only 32 million monthly active users in Europe as of January. Moving to sports, in cricket, India closed on 135 for 1 on day 1 of the 5th test against England. The hosts trailed by just 83 runs yesterday in Dharamshala. England were bowled out for a mere 213. Indian spinner Kuldeep Yadav scalped 5 wickets while giving just 72. In football, Inter Miami held off Nashville to a 2-all tie in the club's CONCACAF Champions Cup opener. Nashville were leading 2-0 with Jacob Schaffelberg netting twice. But Lionel Messi got Miami back on track with his goal in the 52nd minute. Luis Suarez then provided Inter Miami with a vital late equalizer in stoppage time. Saudi giants Al Nassr suffered an embarrassing home loss yesterday. Ronaldo's side was stunned 3-1 by Al Raed. Ronaldo missed plenty of chances to convert goals. After the result, Al Nassr trailed table toppers Al Hilal by a whopping 9 points. The Italian Football Federation chief, Gabriele Gravina, is being investigated. He's being accused of laundering money from a TV rights auction in 2018. Gravina allegedly used this to purchase a home in Milan. The Italian football chief, however, denies any wrongdoing. In tennis, Daniil Medvedev says he's ready to compete in the Olympics as a neutral athlete. The world number 4 will conform to the rules set by the International Tennis Federation. Players from Russia and Belarus can take part in the Olympics, but without flags, emblems and national anthems. The countries have been banned from competing due to Russia's war in Ukraine. Simona Halep will be back in action at the Miami Open this month. She will enter the tournament as a wildcard entry. This will be her first competitive appearance after a prolonged doping ban row. Halep's 4-year doping ban was recently reduced by a sports court. In badminton, Indian ace PV Sindhu entered the French Open quarterfinals. She rallied to overcome America's Beiwen Zhang 13-21, 21-10, 21-14. Sindhu next faces second seed Cheng Yufei from China. The world number 1 badminton duo Chirag Shetty and Satwik Sairaj Rankireddy continue their dream run as they entered the men's doubles quarterfinals at the French Open. The Indian pair defeated their Malaysian foes 21-13, 21-12 in the round of 16 yesterday. The match lasted just 32 minutes. In Formula One, Red Bull has suspended the woman who accused Christian Horner of inappropriate behavior. Red Bull officials dismissed her allegations after an internal investigation. Horner has denied any wrongdoing throughout the probe. Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso topped the practice race for the Saudi Grand Prix yesterday. He recorded the fastest time in the second session. Alonso clocked a time of 1 minute and 28.82 seconds. George Russell and Max Verstappen put in the second and third fastest times. Now to the world of entertainment. A boxing match between former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson and YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul will soon stream on Netflix. The match will take place on the 20th of July in Texas in the US. Netflix subscribers will have access to the stream. Mike Tyson says it'll be fun to take on Jake Paul in the ring. A purple carpet was rolled out for the annual Black Women in Hollywood Awards. The event celebrates black female performers for their work in the entertainment industry. The event saw the attendance of several celebrities like Zendaya, Halle Bailey and Tina Knowles. Actor Millie Bobby Brown says that she felt like the female Tom Cruise after she did her own stunts in the movie Damsel. She admitted to performing all her stunts by herself from start to finish. Brown said that she needed a lot of courage before she could perform the stunts. The fantasy action film Damsel releases today on Netflix. South Korean singer and rapper Karina issued a public apology after her relationship with Lee Jae-wook became public. This came after fans expressed their anger over her relationship. Many questioned that was the love of fans not enough for her that she needed a partner. She posted an image of a handwritten note saying that she says sorry to those who are hurt. Oprah Winfrey is all set to host a television special on the drug Ozempic. The show will revolve around the controversial weight loss injectables. This comes after Oprah stepped down from her position at Weight Watchers after admitting that she used weight loss drugs to maintain her figure. The trailer for the upcoming romantic comedy film The Idea of You has been released. The film stars Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galitzine in the lead roles. Hathaway plays the role of an art manager who falls in love with a musician. The film will stream on Amazon Prime Video from the 2nd of May. A transgender broadcaster called India Willoughby has sued author J.K. Rowling for misgendering. Willoughby accuses Rowling of deliberately calling a trans person a man despite her identifying herself as a woman. However, Rowling has denied the allegations, saying that holding gender-critical views doesn't amount to hate crime. 92-year-old media tycoon Rupert Murdoch is getting engaged to his girlfriend Elena Zhukova. The 67-year-old Zhukova is a retired molecular biologist from Moscow. They began dating last year. The couple will soon get married in California. Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, has passed away at the age of 68. According to reports, he died of a blood clot in the brain. A private funeral was held for him by his friends and family members. He will be remembered for his hugely popular and influential Dragon Ball manga and anime. Singer Steve Lawrence has passed away at the age of 88. He died from complications due to Alzheimer's disease. Lawrence was the other half of the popular duo Steve and Eddie, who toured Las Vegas in the 60s. He began his career at the age of 16 after winning a talent competition.